Hello and welcome to John, Aidan and Dave analyse the finals. Bit of a video we weren't sure whether we were going to do or not. We weren't sure whether we'd find the time, but we have. It's not live. We are recording it now. Obviously, that's live. We're going to then put it up on YouTube for you all to see, but you'll know that because you're watching it on YouTube. So I didn't need to say any of that. All we're going to do is the three of us are going to look through the 14 finals for the Lowbrow Mimir and have a little chat about how people have got to the final and how we think they're going to do. Aidan and Dave are with me, as you can see, and we'll start from tier 14 and work our way up to tier 1. So, Aidan, have you read from any of these players along the way?
I've read for Gemma Bennett and Lee and Tom.
So I think.
Yeah,
I've read for Andy. I don't think I've read for Natalie, but she's read a lot of games for us as well, hasn't she? So.
Yeah, it could be an interesting game. Liam had 11-1 in the league last night, so if some bonuses come across, I'm sure he'll be in a position to take.
I think Liam and Gemma both in the semi-final were absolute bonus magnets. They were in the same semi-final and ended up with something like 20 odd bonuses between them.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to who it suits more, probably. But I think Gemma's my tip there. I think it'll be one of Gemma or Liam, but there's no ruling out the other two.
Well, I'm choosing Andy. I'm choosing Andy then.
Is he local to you?
No.
I'm choosing Andy as well. I think he had the best stats going in that tier.
Okay, fair enough. So we've got one Gemma, two Andy. We go to tier 13. This one's neither of these two are being played at 4 o'clock on Sunday due to other commitments from the players. This is a very interesting heat because Pam is obviously better at highbrow, and then Rajan is from Switzerland, and David and Martin again both better at highbrow. They're all very good quizzes in their own right. I'll let one of you discuss first who you think's gonna.
Yeah, 3 highbrowers and the Swiss person, which I think was one of those 90s raves bands that we.
2 men, a drum machine, a trumpet, 3 highbrowers, and a Swiss person.
Yeah. Martin played in the very first game, actually, which I watched. So part of me wants him to win, but then everybody loves Pam. But Rajan and David seem really nice too. So.
Some of these we've said between us with some of the lower divisions, I think is going to work out. If somebody grabs hold of a quad they particularly like, then that's going to go a long way to getting them. You could say that for all of them, but I think more in the lower divisions, the bonuses are going to be few and far between.
Yeah. I think I'm going to tip David to win this because I know he does a lot of Mimirs and other competitions. I think that may just see him through.
I'll go Martin.
Well, I'm going to go say Pam because everybody loves Pam.
Okay, and now watch Rajan win.
There you go. Sorry, mate.
Sorry for the anti-Swiss sentiments.
We're being not very Swiss, are we? We're not being very neutral. Not sitting on any fences.
No. Right. So we've got Dave Mitchell in this one. He's not against Mark Corrigan, which is obviously very upsetting.
You're upset about that, aren't you?
Every week I've been upset about that. Joseph O'Donoghue, Stephen Hansen and Sean Cairns. Sean Cairns has been an absolute bonus magnet in the OQL League. So if a couple of quads come up that are right for him, he is going to run away with this final. But I think everyone can give him a good game.
Yeah, it's getting interesting, that one. It's I mean, you're looking at the beat. I mean, Gavin, to beat Gavin's no slouch in the semi-finals. So, it's a reasonable standard considering it's still only tier 12.
Yeah.
Oh, the strength and depth in this competition has amazed me throughout. You know, you've been naming players in tier 10 who you'd have thought would be tiers 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But it's been quality throughout. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Sean based on he seems to pull it out every week in OQL at the moment, so that'll probably see him through here in the final.
I'll go Joseph O'Donoghue to disagree with you.
Well, okay. I was going to go Sean as well, so if that's a bit of a kiss of death for him, then I can.
we are allowed to agree occasionally, Dave. On to tier 11. Oh, now see this for tier 11. You've got Martin and Steve are both absolutely superb at sport. Laura Malcolm a bit more around. So you know what I think on this? I think Martin and Steve are going to nullify each other's strengths and let one of the other two in. So I'm gonna pick out Laura there.
Very possible. Yeah.
That'll be a close final. I think I agree with that. Martin and Steve will nullify each other's strengths. I probably will go Laura as well.
Well, I'm going to disagree and say I think there's only so much Martin can steal off Steve, and I think Steve's better at the music, so Steve would be my pick for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Steve's worst matchup for Martin than Martin is for Steve, because Martin is very sport heavy. Steve has other
Yeah,
strengths.
Steve will definitely come in and take a lot from it. This is tier 10. This is the amazingly strong tier. For this to be tier 10 is incredible. You've got a mastermind champion. You've got one of the top American quizzers, and Ant and Scott are both very good as well. And they've not anything on TV, but they're both putting out regularly strong scores in OQL. Yeah, I mean, how a mastermind champion ended up in tier 10, I have no idea. I mean, he only came runner up in his quarterfinal as well. I still can't see beyond Gary there.
He's got to come good sometime. Is that what you think?
He's on your team, isn't he? So you can't pick him.
He's a Jeff Maltby lad. He's got to come. I will say he's got to come good sometime. My pick is for Dr. Grant.
I backed Scott Dalglish at the start of these tiers. He's one of my ones that I backed that's still going, so I've got to keep backing him.
Fair enough.
Even though that is a loaded final.
Yeah, I'd watch for Jeff as well with the if there's any American bias there, he could easily pick up all four in that heat, and that's going to be huge.
We'll see.
Tier 9. Again, this is being played at normal time, so we've got a few well-known names here. John Cockrell from the northeast, Mike Lees, who plays in Rochdale, Michael Cullen, Welsh quizzer, and Afam Ralph, I think is QLL. All regular players. Michael very strong at music and pop culture, but then weak on sport. Mike a bit all round. John more of a highbrow quizzer.
I mean, Mike being weak on sport. Do you know what Mike does for a living? Yeah, Mike's a bookie. So
is he really?
Yeah. So I mean, him being weak on sport is a bit. Just pay attention at work, mate. You've got what you got to do. Yeah. Never mind the musicals, the sport, and the music and the whatever. Just concentrate on your job.
Yeah. What I like about this is you've got two very good lowbrow quizzes and two very good highbrow quizzes in Afam and John. So I think Michael and Mike both being quite young. Afam's young as well. I think that's going to let John in. I'm going to stick my nose out and go for John on this one.
John will be my pick as well. Experience wills out.
I think I'm going to make it a hat trick.
It's our first one.
First one.
Sorry, John. First
one all picked.
That's John's screwed, really. So the other three well and truly in play there.
Tier 8. This is my favourite final. Fiona plays in the Wirral Quiz League. Nathan plays in the Liverpool Quiz League. Shanine has been helping out so much with OQL with reading, a really popular figure on the quiz circuit already. And then you got Ian Chambers as well, who I haven't actually read for, but I'm sure he's lovely. Fiona's team drew with us in the last game on MQL Online on Monday, which cost us the title. But I'm still gonna cheer for her because it means I can
You're not bitter.
I'm not bitter. No. It means I can hand deliver the trophy if she wins. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. It'll be the one I'm not ducking in most of during the finals. And I'd pick Fiona to win. But it's going to be really fun to watch that one.
Yeah, John doesn't back people who he can hand deliver trophies to, or I mean, if Nathan wins, it's not the longest trophy delivery.
I played alongside Nathan in the last season of MQL Online because my team didn't enter, and he's so good on music. But I just think that Fiona and Shanine, it'll be between the girls. I think.
I've read for Fiona a couple of times, and I was very, very impressed with the breadth of her knowledge. I think Fiona would be my pick as well.
I am going to disagree with the female strength. I think Nathan on music is going to push him over the line there.
Okay. Let's have a look at tier 7. Look at those names. Wow. Okay. I don't want to start on that one.
Well, Andrew Franco keeps coming second in this tournament, which is good in the knockout rounds, not so good in the league stage. Steve Bannerman is incredibly good, and to make the top half as an American is amazing. Amy Goodell is probably slightly better at the highbrow, but still in tier 7. And Sam Roberts, what does he do for a living? You mention it every week on the draws, John.
Sam is a cryptocurrency consultant. You want some Bitcoin? You speak to Sam.
Yeah, he also used to do spread betting, which was a lot of the American sports, which could help him against Steve, but bit of an all-rounder there. I mean, I remember Amy from when I was 15, 16, watching her on 15 to 1. So
she'll thank you for that, mate. She'll thank you for that.
You could go on at 16, so she might know. Steve obviously runs the OQL USA for us, so it's hard to pick against him. And Sam is a very good friend of mine, and Andrew is a lovely guy. I'll let one of you two pick first. What's the other think?
I'm gonna back Andrew there. I think Steve, it's tough to win. As an American, I think it's tough to win games as an American, especially at this level. And I think Andrew just has a bit more in the bag on Lowbrow.
I think Andrew and toss up between Andrew and Steve. If Steve gets a couple of quads that he likes the sound of, then he's definitely a player. You had to look at Andrew and Amy in the recent All Things Quiz Omnium. Now Andrew absolutely ran away with that, beating Amy in the meantime. So I'm going to rule Amy out based on that. But Andrew or Steve, depending on who likes the look of what.
Yeah. I'm going to go for Steve. I think he may struggle if there's anything too UK centric, but his UK culture is very good for an American. And I think in that heat, he's going to pick up a lot of points on sport, and that's going to see him through.
Maybe, yeah. Number 6.
Yes, 6, right, okay. Yeah, well, I think we should explain that unfortunately Paul missed one game. So he scored 0 for it, which obviously affected the heat that he ended up in there. He would probably have been a bit higher up otherwise. David Cruikshank is Mr. Second. This will be his 8th game in the Lowbrow Mimir. He has come second on 6 in his previous 7 occasions. So it's not much you can say on that. Rob Greenhill pulled him up a lot, didn't he? He was quite low down early on.
Yeah, he ended up in tier 4 to start. Section 4 to start, but then hit on purple patch.
And then Beth Webster obviously having some great news recently with the return of Eggheads.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's one of the Eggheads in our competition. I've got a strange call from Eggheads today, asking me to promote the return. So if you'd like to go on Eggheads, there'll be a casting call put up in the OQL page. And I was chatting to them about OQL, and it only dawned on me afterwards. They actually wanted to talk to me about the Wirral Quiz League because I'm listed as the contact there, and they found OQL. I thought it was a bit strange. But yes, if you want to go on Eggheads, they are looking for contestants, and we'd love to see OQL on.
I think the comedy value of that would be if Jeff Maltby signed up en masse as a team and had our friend Mr. Cook on the opposite side. So that would be... Yeah, but not tell him we're going. We rock up one day and go, "Hi, Steve,"
and then lose to him
and
on
then
his
lose and get.
Makes me think actually. The one time I was on Eggheads as a reserve years ago, and the team ended up all 5 of them in the final against Dave Rainford, and he won. It cost me $2,000.
Tremendous knowledge.
Yeah, it's still great to see. Anyway, back to who we think is going to win. I'm going to say David's going to come second. In fact, I think we're going to see this all. Well, I think Paul's going to win. I think you can't really bet against Paul at any stage. Now,
the form he's in, I would not bet against Paul Sinner in any quiz of any kind. He's on absolute fire at present.
Was he 3rd in our speed quiz last weekend? Fastest finger over the whole competition. But then, what was that, Aidan? Sorry,
he was 5th overall, but won the fastest finger.
Yeah, but then Beth could pick up stuff that the other guys don't know. She's going to have a different set of knowledge to them.
Yeah, that might be.
Although Rob Greenhill is very good on his lifestyle stuff, that's his strength on Lowbrow, which might placate there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a Paul David 1-2, and then the other 2 battling for 3rd, but they won't be far behind.
Yeah, I'll go for Paul in first.
Hat-trick for Mr. Sinner.
Yeah, so far we've got John Cockrell and Paul Sinner tipped by all 3 of us.
As it's Cheltenham week, he's my nap.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's have a look at tier 5. Right, this is another incredibly strong heat. We're still waiting for this one to be scheduled. So if you're watching, guys,
Pull your finger out.
Yeah. So we've got Damien Evans, plays for Captain Strong Fauna, who are top 4 in Division 3. David Stainer on the setting team for OQL, but obviously nothing to do with Lowbrow. He has no idea what's coming up. Charlie Rowlands.
He won't be in Tier 5 otherwise.
Well, exactly, yeah. Charlie Rowlands plays for, I think, Winning From Home, who are 2nd Division but struggling. And Colin Foster plays for the Marauders in Division 1. So you've got some really strong quizzes here, but it's just really what's going to suit them.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to pick apart here.
I think, for me, I mean, it's toss up between Stainer and Charlie. Both had some really, I mean, Stainer's just a class act across the board. Charlie's had some fantastic scores. I think I saw in 1 week, did he get 16 and come 2nd? I mean,
wow.
You don't do that very often.
He was on about 18, weren't he, when he comes 2nd to Nick Paul. Nick Paul was about 23 and Charlie. Then Machine Gun Akpan had about 20 bonus attempts.
The machine gun.
I love that. But then Colin beat David in the quarterfinal when they both came through, but Colin won the heat. So
no, David won the quarterfinal. He's
oh, sorry, it's your spreadsheet. I was right. Okay.
Are you
well, that changes everything then. In that case, only Charlie. Oh, yeah. You two go first. I'm still thinking.
I'm gonna throw a curveball in left field. I'll go Damien Evans because when I've read for him, he is very good on film and TV, and I think that might be the areas where the other gentleman might lapse a bit. So I think it's a good matchup for Damien, and I'm going to go for him to pull out a shock.
I mean, I'm going to pick Charlie and say, is it a shock if he beats Mr. Stainer? But I think it's 6-1.5 is another for them too. But yeah, Charlie's my pick. Sorry, David.
Well, this is going to be a surprise, but I'm not going for David either. So none of us have picked him. We all. I'm sure we all think you're going to come 2nd, David. I don't know why. I'm thinking Colin. I think he's just got that extra bit there. That we'll see him through in this kind of competition. He's more used to the competition as well. I think he'll take this.
So we've had 3 picks and none of them are Stainer. You couldn't write that, could you?
Shows how good the strong the competition is.
Exactly.
Let's have a look at Tier 4.
Tier 4.
First comment on this video: Stainer complaining about.
Let's hope not, because that means it's 20 minutes in before anyone's bothered to say anything.
Yeah.
We've got your gambler's teammate in this one, Dave, so you can take it away.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, Al is early doors. I mean, he didn't do great the first 2 weeks. I mean, he'll openly admit I had him to finish a lot higher than Tier 4 all the way through. He's not had the best time of it, but he's absolutely a class act, is Alan. But then you run into the juggernaut that is Evan Lynch. I mean, if Evan gets all, I mean, Evan still the highest scorer throughout the whole competition with his.
We can check it fairly quickly.
It's 26, was it?
Oh, that was the highest score in any one game. 26.
In any one game. So
Ian Aitken had got the highest win in any game, but that was the highest score.
Yeah.
In any game.
So for me, it's an Evan Allen toss up.
Okay.
I'll go that Nick Reed, being a music expert, will hold Alan back a bit more than it will hold Evan back, and I think that might push Evan slightly past Alan.
See, I think that Evan and Mick are going to nullify each other, both being quite young, and they'll probably have similar strengths. So I think it's actually going to be between the other two, and I think Alan's sport knowledge is going to come strong in this. So I'll go for Alan on that. Alan and Nick.
Good one. Right. Top 3. All the ones going forward, all read by me. So you got my company at the weekend.
Hang on, you can't read all 3. 3 and 2 happen. Oh no, they're not 3 and 2 aren't happening at the same time, are they?
Just trust me, John. I'm reading it.
Right, I'll let. Oh,
that's a good final.
Yeah, it's a great final. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, you got 3 QLLers and Ailsa there. I said at the start of this, I thought Bob Deco would win the whole thing. So him being in Tier 3 was quite a surprise to me.
I totally agree. I mean, Bob was one of my picks, same as you, one of the picks to win it all. Ailsa's own words, anybody who picked me in a quiz that has sport and video games, then more fucking fool you. Sorry. Yeah, so I mean, we'll be all right. Bob will be my pick. Although you got Nick Mortimer, who's one of the writers for The Chase, so he's obviously bombarded with questions day in day out. So, but yeah, I'll say I can't see past Bob.
Okay, see, Fraser's very consistent. He got very far in the vocal competition last year. He did very well at the speed quiz, and he was never fastest, but he was in the top 3 quite a lot of times.
Ridiculous amount of seconds and thirds without ever being fastest on a question. It was bizarre, his stats.
Yeah, we never got to hear his buzzer. I'm sure it was probably Brian Adams' Summer of '69. It's just so cool that we didn't get to revel in that.
It was Sexy and You Know It by LMFAO, which
right.
on Rolling Stone's list of best songs of all time is top 100, whereas all of Brian
top
Adams
10, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a tricky one to predict. I mean, Bob's the best at the music there, but
yeah,
I don't know how well that's going to help him. I'm drawn to Ailsa. I really wanted to win. I suppose that's probably why, but I just think the others will nullify each other on the sport, and that won't bother her, and she'll come through.
Maybe that. I mean, Ailsa's own words was, "Why did you pick me?" So I'll agree with you, Ailsa, and go for Bob.
All right. No pressure on you, Ailsa, but yeah.
Bob.
You go Bob as well, was that Aidan?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's have a look at tier 2.
Number 2.
Wow. Okay. Now, if I'm right, Tom Speller made the final of Buchel 1 last summer, which is this format. So obviously that straight away is a huge ability. Ned, professional gambler. Paddy writes for many, many shows, including the hit list. Going back to Brian Adams, Paddy and I had a discussion because they had you get to hear 5 songs, one from each decade, all got to the top 5, and he played Summer of '69 by Brian Adams, so I had to message him afterwards to say that only got to 42. But it should have been number 1, obviously. I'm gonna have to stop talking about Brian Adams.
Brian Adams is the worst. Summer of '69 is the worst song in living memory. Just shut your face. It's just hate it.
It is. They feel incredibly accurate comment there.
John, come on, give your head a shake.
We were
That's the quiz.
We were discussing a pair for the OQL League last night, Dave, of which song by DJ Sammy was a cover of a particularly horrendous song by Brian Adams, paired with which virtuoso performance by Mel C was ruined on a duet with Brian Adams.
Yeah, exactly that.
Whatever, I don't care. I know you both secretly love him. Anyway, we're not here to talk about how great...
We love Brian Adams as much as you like cricket, put it that way.
We're not here to talk about...
He did do the opening ceremony of the 2011 World Cup. In Bangladesh, they ferried in Brian Adams. This is genuinely true, and if this comes up in the final, you can all thank me.
We're not here to talk about how great Brian Adams is. We're here to talk about these 4 guys and how they're going to do in the final. So we've got Oliver, Ned, Tom, and Paddy, all with excellent quiz pedigree. Ned, professional sports, better. But Paddy's so strong on music. Ollie's just brilliant all round. And Tom, very consistent and solid. It's tough to make a pick.
Yeah, for me, Ollie's just on fire again. When Paul says he's not even the best quizzer in their marriage, then obviously that's a bit of a glowing endorsement, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, one thing I was going to say, look at who lost in the semi-finals here.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gibson, Mark Cooper, John Robinson, Lawrence Cook. All 4 of those could have been finalists.
That could have quite easily been in the final, couldn't it?
Yeah. Wow, that is strong.
For me, I'm going Ollie.
Okay.
Just because I don't think he's going to miss much.
No. I would say if I was, I'd put Ollie at about 30% and the rest at about 23% chance. So I'll give Ollie that.
Yeah. Okay.
We did laugh last night when we were looking at the OQL scores, and one of the friendly scores came up, and Paddy Duffy had got 27-8. I goes, that'll be the St Patrick's Day friendly. And I apologise to Paddy if it's not.
Yeah, well, I think it was. He did post about it later. I don't know why I'm thinking Ned's going to take this. I don't know. Yeah, I just got a feeling Ned's gonna come through. He's the only one of the four of them who won their quarter final. I think he's just gonna pull out the bag in the final. I think he's gonna want it more. There you go. And should we have a look at then tier one?
The big one.
Let's have a look at who we've got here. We've got Dave Gregson, whose quarter final he won the quarter final, which had Jenny Ryan and Matt Williams in it. That incredible quarter final. And then in the semi final, was he first against Lewis or second? He won that.
Yeah,
with Will Swigart and Phil Small. Will was obviously top of the finals board. So I mean, he's come through. He's really. I mean, he had what was it? One joint second. He's won every other game he's played in all them.
Yeah,
all 7 of them. That's a superb start. So Lewis, youngest of the finalists. Don't know quite how well that's going to play. I think he's flown under the radar this competition. Everybody's noticed us. Well, but no one was expecting it. He's a good quizzer, very good quizzer, but this has just really surprised a lot of people. I think he's had a lot of second he's come second in both the semi and the quarter, but he's taken out some great people on the way. Emma Laslett, Steve Lilly, Phil Small, and Will finishing behind him.
I mean, I read for both of those semi-finals, and some of the answers that were coming out were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I was just absolutely blown away, thinking, oh well, this is going to go for a bonus somewhere, or this is going to go for an X. And I think I think it was the Morgan Toms Paul McPartland one. I think that was a 1X game.
Yeah, well, that was right, because Alan Morgan, he'd written 2 questions about lingerie companies very recently for his OQL friendly, and they cropped up, both of them cropped up on there, which was 2 bonus points for him, which is eventually what saw him through in a very tough semi against Nick and Michael. But Alan and David, they play on the same team in OQL. Are they going to have similar strengths, especially in the music? I mean, I've only just getting to know Ian this year. I know how good he is, but are his strengths just everywhere?
Everywhere, absolutely. He missed out on a full house last night on the last question. He's second in the overall stats for OQL. He's in the final of the lowbrow. He was umming and ahhing about playing in the highbrow. I'm like, bloody hell, man, you're going to be one of the favourites if you play.
Yeah.
So he's a rare breed that's going to do well in this, do well in the highbrow. He's got no weaknesses. He's an absolute machine, and for that reason, I'm picking Mr. Toms.
Okay, that's good. One other thing that's happening with these guys is they're all having an appearance on All Things Quiz with Gareth Kingston. He's going to have a little chat with them about how they've made it to the final, what they're hoping to come up and etc. I think Ian couldn't make it, unfortunately, but the other 3 will be there, and Gareth will be releasing that at some point. I haven't decided yet, so I'll let Aidan pick.
Like Dave said, Ian has no real weaknesses. I think Dave Gregson will run him close, but Ian Toms is my pick.
My heart says Lewis, because he's such a lovely lad. I really would like to see him do well, but I think this is going to be, I think we've got to be honest, I think this is going to be one step too far for him. And I think David and Alan are going to nullify each other a little bit, which will leave the door open for Ian Toms to come through as our first lowbrow Mimir champion. That's my prediction. It's what you guys both think as well. But there we go. Any standout players who surprised you along the way here, who may not necessarily be in the final? Things you really enjoyed watching them play or anything?
I think Matt Williams deserves the shot. Matt Williams and Will Swigert, we're looking at their page at the moment, were both absolutely incredible throughout the league stage, stronger than the 4 guys that have made the final. Yeah. Especially Will Swigert, he won 6 games in a row.
Yes, only
then
one.
To miss out on the final is incredibly unlucky. Probably was held back in the semi-final by some easier music quads. He had.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was heartbreaking for Will. I mean, it wasn't so much heartbreaking for Will, but heartbreaking for all of them, really. Well, apart from the 2 guys that go through. Will missed out on getting the margarita cocktail. Yeah, and if Will gets that, or if Will gets that, or it goes. No, exactly. If Will gets it, it's a 13-all 4-way tie in that semi-final. He ended up not getting it, and it ended up being a 14-13, 13-12 with second place going to a tiebreaker. Otherwise, I mean, that's how close it was.
Yeah. That is just incredible, really. Yeah, I had something to say then, and oh no, Will is still going to take home the top of the finals board trophy, so he does still get something out of this. But obviously, I think he'd have been much preferring the Division 1, albeit the Tier 1 title. Yeah, they did great. One thing that I've liked then, there was Matthew Mcstate, who in his first game came on very nervous and scored just 1 point. Really a bit worried about how he was going to do throughout the rest of the competition. Really picked himself up. He hasn't made a final, but he moved right up the tiers by the end of it.
9, I think, or 8.
Yeah, 8 or 9. It looked like he was going to be Tier 14, and got some good results along the way. So it was nice to see a big improvement there from somebody.
Maybe Tier 10. Maybe Tier 11.
There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Tier 11. He got to the semi-final. Didn't quite make it to the final. It was just a nice recovery after a really tough first game, and I think the nerves got the better of him. But obviously, he settled into it now and got some good results there.
I think there was a trio of names of people who found us on Twitter through Dara that were quite impressive. I'd go Ben Spicer, Henry Bagridge, and Amanda Haggart.
Yes, none have made that final.
Trio of names that haven't made the final, but were really good.
Yeah. Well, Dara's just done another post about promoting the league for next season, which is really good. I mean, we do appreciate it. And obviously, anyone out there who has any friends or family who they think might be interested in the league, let them know about it. We'd love to have them on board. We've always got space for more teams and more players.
Yeah, bollocks to go into the pub. Stay in, play a quiz.
Yeah, stay in, quiz. Yeah, your pub quiz is rubbish compared to us.
What?
Yeah. Apart from Red Tooth pub quizzes, everyone should go.
Is
to a
the
pub
right
quiz.
answer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Right, and there we have it. We are back to Tier 1. So we're live on Sunday night, are we? 8 p.m. for the Tier 1 final.
Yes, the Tier 1 final is going to be showed live about 8:30. We're going to live stream it. It will be a few minutes. It will be a bit delayed, obviously, to prevent any question, sharing or anything like that. I'm sure no one would do that anyway. But there we go. The other finals will be played at 4 p.m. on Sunday. That'll be all one big Zoom call that I will organise. And everybody, there's a few finals where somebody couldn't make 4 o'clock on Sunday. They're arranging it at their own time. And then we're going to get those played as soon as we can. And then we'll release the questions, announce the winners, and arrange their trophies for being champions.
Don't forget to sign up for the Highbrow.
Yep. You got 13 days to sign up for the Highbrow Mimir if you want to. All available at the website or in the Facebook groups. Have a look at that, see what you think. All the opposite kind of questions do you get in here? So all stuff. Class Aidan, you're kind of more involved there. What kind of questions can we expect?
No questions about Grinder, about ice hockey or lingerie, dancing,
90s rave.
90s raves. Basically, you're going to get questions about where rivers are, what happened in the 15th century. It's a bit of science. Who painted this? What god did this? What philosopher said that?
No, but we can't mention Monty Python because people have
we can't mention Monty Python.
We've been told off for that last night.
Yeah.
You might see some books. The books are the one things that cross over, but you're probably not going to see Harry Potter or Song of Fire, Ice and Fire. So they're going to be the books that probably aren't written in English. So
right.
But it's going to be really good. And I know that sounds disparaging, but I quite like the Highbrow, unlike John and Dave. So as much my bag as the.
I'm looking forward to a break. Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's all from us for tonight then. Thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Any comments or any questions, just let us know.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.